Hi guys, welcome to On the DL with Dak and Lan. We're here to show you the practical approach to health and fitness.
Welcome back, guys. This is obviously your pilot speaking. Welcome to Flight GKQ to fucking On the DL episode. We don't know.
I love it. We may have had some technical issues today, and that's landed our lovely Dakota in the pilot seat. So we're going with it.
Just deal with it. Just deal with it. And if you're listening and not watching, you should probably go watch just to see the visuals. Today we want to go through a few myths. We've got two in particular that we really want to hit the nail on the head with. And our short-term future plan is going to be to kind of go through a few myths within the fitness industry, you know, in terms of training and nutrition as well. There are a shitload of myths out there, you know, TikTok, you know, Pilates, better than strength training at the moment. Like there's so many things that one person says, one sentence, and people just go for it. So we want to try and bust it, really.
Yeah. So today, I think we're going to start with one of our favorite stacks. Strength training makes you bulky.
Oh my God. Like, I'm trying to get bulky. And like, we know that it's just a lack of education. Like, we're not like, you know, oh yeah, if I look at a muscle, it's going to grow. Like, it's not that easy. Like, I wish it was. If it was, everyone would be fucking huge.
So realistically, because we're all about education, right? The things that you actually have to do to put on muscle mass, you have to be in a calorie surplus to put on any significant amount of lean mass, right? You have to train consistently and pretty close to failure on a regular basis to be able to build any significant amount of lean mass. What else do we need to do, Dakota?
Regarding the the RPE range, you want to be training at a high enough intensity. Like, you need to have that intensity and that mentality to really hit that consistency to make sure you are. But also, like Lan said, like, obviously, if you're somebody who's just started training, you're obviously going to see a lot easier and faster gains than somebody who's been in the game for, 4 to 6 years.
Newbie gains.
Yeah, I miss them so much. I miss them so much. But like, obviously within the calorie surplus, like, protein is definitely your number one priority, along with the, all the other calories and everything like that. Definitely the consistency. Like, you can't half-ass your gym sessions, half-ass your nutrition. Some days you're perfect, some days you're not. Like, you need that constant intake of that protein. Like, you can't catch up on it.
And you can't cut every time you put a % of body fat on because you're worried about gaining body fat. So you put your goal aside for a second. So all we're trying to cover here really is that it's hard work to put on lean mass.
And it's slow.
Yeah, so slow. We're looking at, for women, around about 100 grams of lean mass per week at an absolute maximum. Like, if you're doing...
You are being perfect. You are amazing.
Sleep is on point, training's on point, nutrition's on point, everything's going exactly as it's supposed to. You might be lucky to get 100 grams per week. And men, around about double that from the studies that I've read. But to be fair, it's been a while since I've looked at it again. But if we're looking at 100 to 200 grams, think about how long it would take, even if every circumstance was perfect, for a girl to get bulky with those kinds of gains. And this is it. We're not educating people, we're scaring people. We're telling people the extreme of everything. And then of course they come in thinking if they pick up a 10-kilo dumbbell, they're all of a sudden going to
get juicy
Arnie biceps,
The reality of it is that most people, it sounds really negative, but most people don't actually stay consistent enough to get bulky. Like, getting bulky is the easy part. Like, getting there is easy. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you have to be consistent long enough and you have to be patient for long enough. Like, you tell someone, okay, you have to do this for 6 months. You're not really going to see any progress apart from a few numbers on a page. You're going to look exactly the same. Your training's going to feel a little bit better, but you're not really going to see any visual feedback. And it's like, oh, like 2 months in, you're like, what am I working towards? What am I doing?
There's not a huge amount of excitement because there's no immediate gratification, right? Like, when we're in a weight loss phase or a fat loss phase, you can see things fairly quickly. When you're in a lean mass gain phase, it's slow as hell. And even when you are putting on muscle mass, if you're putting on 100 grams per week across your entire body,
where are you going to see that?
You're just not going to visually notice.
Feel it. Like, I mean, I personally feel it really like straight away, but not a lot of people would, especially the newbies, you know, they're not going to really notice it visually. They might, I mean, obviously you're going to feel it in the gym a little bit, you know, performance and stuff, but a lot of people don't actually care about their performance in the gym that much. So it's not really that motivating. They fucking should.
True, actually. It's something both you and I encourage, though. I think you need to, any aesthetic goal you've got should be attached to a performance goal. And that doesn't mean you have to be a power lifter. No. It just means look for PBs or look to increase how many reps on a certain weight you can do or whatever else. But look for progression so that you're not just constantly stuck in this tug of war with, do I look better today? Because that's not totally gratifying.
It's not motivating, because you won't always, even if you're in the right direction, you're not always going to feel good and look good. Like, that brings me to a topic that I was talking to somebody else about, and it really like, I feel like people want to get skinny or they want to put on muscle, but they don't want to train hard. Like they have an image in their head and a certain aesthetic, whether it's, you know, a low body fat or, you know, this tight toned female look or male look, but they don't realize the style of training that they have to do. Like, and it just blows my mind. Like, nutrition is powerful. You know, you should really pair nutrition and programming together to get an aesthetic that's like even across the board, healthy across the board, you know, kind of balanced. But I feel like people apply so much onto the nutrition, which is fantastic. Like, you can't build muscle from nutrition alone.
So I think that's where people do get confused, though, because you can be healthy just eating well and moving your body without, you know, you don't need to strength train to be healthy, but you want to change your body composition significantly. You can't do one without the other. And I think that's where people get confused, because nutrition is so powerful from a holistic perspective. People forget that your goal is what dictates what you have to do to get there. If you just want to be healthy, that's fine. Go eat clean, make sure you hit your protein targets and stay in a caloric balance, and you will be healthy, right? Like, you're probably going to do all right. I should say a bit more than that, you know, eat clean, choose good quality foods, all that.
All the little subsect stuff.
But you get what I mean. Like, you don't need to be doing crazy things to just stay healthy. But if you do want to change your body composition, if you want to change the aesthetic, you're going to have to work hard for it, just like you have to work hard as a power lifter, just like you have to work hard in any other sport. If you're trying to get more than minimal change, of course, you're going to have to work hard in the gym for it, and consistently, which is the thing we always fight with our clients about.
Just overall consistency of anything, like long term, not short term. I feel like people don't realize that being toned is actually building muscle. I feel like
build muscle, drop body fat, you'll be toned.
I feel like toned is like almost like an endurance athlete. Like, people think that you can just do a few HIIT classes and then you'll be toned and jacked, but it's like, you realize that being toned is just having a bit of muscle and losing a little bit of body fat.
So like, it's the same work, just with a different name at the end. Which is
what it really confuses people.
It does, because toned makes you think less work, doesn't it? When you say, I just want to be toned, it makes you think that you can do it the easy way. You can't.
No. In the beginning, you'll fucking get that tone straight away, but then you got to keep it.
That's it. So basically what we're trying to say to you guys is that if you're worried about jumping in the gym and getting bulky, it's just not going to happen. Like, a lot of work goes into it. So stop worrying and start reaping the benefits. Go into that gym, pick up your weights, feel strong, feel empowered. Just, you know, move your body and create what you want out of your body at the end of the day.
Think about what you want out of your training, what you enjoy, and what your goal actually consists of. You know, like, make sure you train fucking hard.
Get in there
while you can.
do it. Yeah,
Easy.
once you're my age, it changes a little.
Yeah, mate, I'm already feeling it.
But it's very true. Like if you get in there and you learn the right way to go about it when you're young, that longevity will probably be there better than if you do it the other way around. So intensity matters, food intake matters. It's hard work to get bulky. So just start enjoying the process because it's not going to be what you think it is, guys. All right. We had number 2, and this is another favorite of ours. So low calorie foods are healthier. I love that face, Dak.
Now, I have definitely become victim of this. You know, a few years ago, my relationship with food wasn't, too hot. And I definitely, I think it came with a fear of being hungry. Like I wasn't comfortable being hungry because, you know, the lack of control just wasn't there. And I definitely thought that, okay, cool. So I can't be hungry. So I need to be full all the time. So to be full all the time, I need food volume. So I remember, I think I made a meal. It was like fucking chicken, and it was like 150 grams of like that broccoli rice, and I think it was like 150 grams of cauliflower rice. I was having like a fuckload of veggies, rice as well.
Definitely farting all day as well by that.
So gassy, so bloated. But you know what was fucked up, right? Is that like I was bloated. So I was like, yes, if I'm bloated, I won't be hungry and I'll feel fat and then I won't eat anymore. Like,
isn't it funny? Do you know how many patients I get that say that though? And it blows my mind because the fact that they've gotten to the point where they associate discomfort with a positive form of feedback is terrifying. That's how bad people's relationships with food have gotten.
Bad, so bad.
We confuse, I think the biggest thing here is understanding the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger, because when, you know, different story when you're in a massive deficit because you've got to hit a certain goal, right? And a short-term goal at that. So
but in saying that, if you're someone who can like do that, and you can handle that, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. But most deficits, if your deficit has been planned well for you, you will be hungry, but it should be sort of in the lead up to your next meal, right? Like you should be a little bit hungry an hour before your next meal or something along those lines. You shouldn't be ravenous all day, every day.
No.
Because then you basically your deficit's not serving you.
No.
But if you're only getting hungry in the lead up to meals, that should be manageable hunger. Your physical hunger should be well and truly manageable.
It's not destroying you.
That's it. So what you're actually addressing is the emotional hunger, which is disproportionate to the physical hunger.
Yeah.
Which is why people associate with that full feeling, because they talk about, you know, if I feel full, I won't eat anymore, so on and so forth. But Dak, what really happened?
You just eat. You just eat more. Like it doesn't really matter. Like I remember, it's just it's just not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't when you're in that state of mind. It doesn't matter how much you actually eat, because you know, like for me, you know, back then I wasn't allowing myself to eat what I actually wanted to eat or that I enjoyed. So therefore I was eating constantly, but I didn't really enjoy any of it. It was all low calorie options. Like it wasn't a good time.
I think as well, there's a lot of misinformation out there about, you know, low calorie foods, particularly when it comes to things like high fiber foods and that sort of jazz, because people think fiber is non-caloric. It's not non-caloric. It is much lower in calories than your average carbohydrate, but it's not non-caloric. And because in Australia, we look at things very different to in the US. So we're sort of very inclusive of everything on our nutrition panels, whereas the US and other countries use a bit of trickery. So a lot of the diet products that we find in Australia are American products. We kind of go to things like that. And oftentimes you'll see that the calories don't match up with what's in the
it's like Halo Top
panel, but you won't necessarily put 2 and 2 together because you're wanting to believe that that's really low calories.
It's like Halo Top. Like Halo Top calories don't equate to actually what's in the container, but you just fucking eat it and you're like, oh, maybe they're wrong. I don't know.
That's right. There must be a mistake. And the other thing that, you know, if you don't enjoy something, don't put it in
Yes.
your mouth regardless of the caloric load, right? Like if you don't like Jelly Light and you're sitting there downing a tub of it, what's
Doesn't
the
matter
point?
how much you eat.
You
Doesn't matter
know?
how much you eat, you're not going to be satisfied.
What's
You
the
can eat a
difference?
whole fucking liter of it and you're still not going to be satisfied.
And if you prefer normal potatoes over Spud Light, eat the normal potato.
Eat the fucking potato. Seriously. Like Spud Light is the devil.
Conditioning yourself to understand that food is not good or bad and that food should be there for nourishment, enjoyment. It's got so many purposes outside of just its calories is really empowering. And as you start to move away from that thought process of, all right, I need to fill my tummy, you start to get much more comfortable with the fact that it's okay to not feel full all the time. You know?
Yeah. Do you know what's messed up is that most people with those Spud Light potatoes, most people go for the Spud Light potatoes first, but they don't actually know the caloric difference between Spud Light and just a normal potato.
Oh, completely. Because most people have been told by somebody to eat
that's healthier,
them, right?
or that's better. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I pointed out on a very regular basis to my clients, and I do say to them, if you actually enjoy Spud Light, go for it. Like if that's what you like, enjoy it. If, however, it's not, the caloric difference is so minute. Like the volume you think you're getting from Spud Light versus
No, it's not enough to eat a potato that's a little bit more watery than to save the calories.
Some sort of exponential difference in enjoyment for not a big enough difference in the calories.
Not worth the sacrifice. But that's all it is. Like people think that, you know, they eat foods because they think they have to, or maybe they see someone on, you know, Instagram do it. Like, I'm sorry that what is it? What is that? It's like this protein mousse. I can't remember the actual business name now.
Maybe Wicked Sisters.
Oh yes. That tastes like asshole. I'm sorry.
I tried them though. Their rice pudding is pretty decent. Their rice pudding's okay.
I tried this mousse product. I was like, oh, people have been raving about it on Instagram. And I was like, I'll try it. The protein's not too bad. Oh my God. Like, no, I was like, people are going out there and probably forcing themselves to eat those foods when they don't, it doesn't taste like mousse, but it's like, oh, I'm eating mousse. But like, you could just eat half a portion of mousse and probably get the same overall, like roughly calories.
And that's exactly what it comes down to. Which do you enjoy? And which one serves your purposes, right? So the Wicked Sisters desserts are quite high in protein, but they're also relatively high in saturated fats.
Yeah.
So you need to account for that in your daily intake, right? So when we're looking at calories alone, a lot of the time we forego looking for the other important things, right? Like nutrient density, how much salt might be in a product to get the flavor up, you know, all of these other things that might be put in there to create flavor because they can't use calories to create flavor. Because let's face it, fats taste good, carbs good, you know.
If you take those out, what are you going to make it with?
Exactly right. So that's it. So you're putting yourself in this position where you're probably having detrimental impacts on your overall nutrient intake because you're trying to avoid that calories. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah, you're so focused on the overall calories that you're consuming. You're trying to get that as low as you can. But unfortunately, when you do that, you also take your nutrient density so far down. Like
that's it.
You've got to find that healthy balance. You've got to find that healthy balance between kind of obviously if you have a weight loss goal, obviously you need to stick to the calories, get them low, do what you need to do, be consistent with it. But also, like, you know, are you actually eating anything with micronutrients, or is everything coming out of a package?
Yeah, and choose foods that satiate you specifically, right? So I have clients who are more satiated from carbohydrates, but I also have clients that find themselves more satiated from fats. And you have to play to your strengths and weaknesses, right? So most people find protein the most satiating, right? So we'll kind of tick that one off because that we have to hit anyway. And if you go a little over on your protein, no one's going to be so upset with you.
You're not overweight because you're eating too much protein.
Exactly right. And let's face it, protein has a much higher cost of digestion, so it's probably not contributing as many calories anyway. But when it comes to everything else, right, it's more about what you enjoy and what creates satiation for you. We all have different taste buds, which means, of course, some things are going to satiate me more. Yeah, and some things are going to satiate you more because flavor plays a role. It's not just about how quickly does something digest, or, you know, we've oversimplified this stuff. Yeah. If your energy levels are more balanced on a high fat diet, you might find that you get less cravings on a high fat diet. Yeah. If vice versa works for you, that's fine, because overall calorie balance is going to be more important than your split of your fats and your carbs. Yeah. Unless you're a performance athlete, then we have to you know. But it does come down to low calories are not the be all and end all. Certainly not healthier, hey?
Even if you're in a weight loss phase, even if you are someone in a weight loss phase, you need to, like, obviously you're going to go for convenience because it's easy, but you have to look at the overall quality of your intake. Like if you're choosing foods that it's kind of hard because you want people to choose foods that they enjoy. But if you enjoy a burger and a schnitzel and I don't know, fruit toast for breakfast, then you have to go, okay, cool. While you do enjoy those foods and you'll probably be quite satisfied, where are the health benefits as well? Because it's like already with a weight loss and a caloric deficit, you're already going to be limit your overall intake. So obviously that should be a priority.
Yeah. The lower your calories, the higher your nutrient density needs to be in your foods. And that's just very, very simple. You can't get around that without taking 15 different supplements. And seriously, who wants to do that? So, you know, the lower your calories are, the higher your protein needs to be and the higher your nutrient intake needs to be, right? Like you just need nutrient dense foods. Otherwise, you're not going to tick those boxes. When you're consuming 6,000 calories, you can tick those boxes without a lot of
quite
effort,
easily.
You know?
Yeah. So much easier.
That's it. So only eat low fat or low calorie foods if it's something that you actually enjoy. Don't fall for the crappy marketing that tells you that it's a healthier option, because that all came from a very old school place where we thought low calories were better for people, and we're now more educated on that.
Yes.
I just, you know, we literally see it every day, don't we, Dak? People coming in and opting for low-cal foods, and we're not...
Like an egg white omelette for breakfast.
Which is fine if you enjoy it.
If you enjoy it. Or fucking no-shoe pancakes.
Oh, my God. No-shoe, have you noticed how high in fat no-shoe is in general, though? People need to be made aware of these things because the marketing is freaking fantastic.
Oh yeah. I'm like, how can you eat that?
Yeah.
It's just not it's not an option. Like
no. But that's the thing. If the marketing is that good and that strong, people are going to give into it well before they do the research, and then they're already invested because once they've already bought. We very much want to make sure everyone knows that we are not judging people who make that decision because most people have made it, because most people don't have the education to know differently. What we do want to point out is that you don't need to make it anymore. Feel empowered.
You know? Like, think about why you're eating certain foods. If you are in a deficit, just try and keep a nice balance between obviously hitting those micronutrient targets, but also enjoying your food. Have a little bit of balance. You don't have to go too hard one way and you don't want to go too hard the other way. It's more so just thinking about the bigger picture and trying not to oversimplify it.
Exactly right. So in summary, guys, strength training makes you bulky. Dak, what's our answer?
Hell no.
And low-cal foods are healthier? All right, I think we've covered it. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We do really appreciate you listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. like, subscribe, do all the things that you're supposed to do, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.